continuing on with the 200 sub celebration, I also put in that poll I was going to do a DVD collection show off, I suppose. And my, I bit off more than I could chew with this one. I have way too many movies. Some movies I had since I was 5 years old. And frankly, it took me 2 hours to get through every single movie in my collection. So to put in some actual effort this time, I actually used my DSLR camera, which doesn't take too bad picture, and I had a little really small shotgun mic as well, just to add some, some flair. That all went wrong, didn't it? Because every time I pressed record, I had to manually set up the audio levels. So it's a big pain in the ass. So there are some audio problems throughout this video, so I do apologize for that. There are some audio issues in this video, and I did try my best to scrub them up and get rid of any hiss or hum or general interruptions, but I did the best that I could. But enough waffle. I do hope you guys enjoy this video, audio issues aside, and thank you again for the 200 subs. Please enjoy this DVD collection showcase. These are all my concurrent horror films on DVD and Blu-ray. Now, when you look at it, it doesn't seem like a lot, does it? But trust me, I've got way more in that shelf over there and on my TV stand. So yeah, let's give this a go, shall we? I mean, there's quite a lot here. Let's get started with the horror films first then. We've got the Erotic Test Nonsense collection, the collector's boxes, which, went for a lot of money in that. I also have the VHS one in the Barf Bunny case as well. We've got The Fly and the Fly 2, because The Fly and the Fly 2 are very good movies. The original ones are fairly better, I guess, in terms of, that style of 1950s, kind of radioactive or, experimenting with, the human body, when you shouldn't be doing that. But it's also very good in a modern sense, with sexual diseases and that. Very good stuff. Over here we have Ring, or Ringu. No, not Ringo Starr, Ringu. This one is the I can't even say his name properly. The Hideo Nakataka classic, where it basically spawned a whole load of spin-offs and some American remakes as well. Not very good the American remakes, but these ones are fantastic. The Ring is incredibly creepy, it's a good ghost story, and yeah, it's all round spooky good fun. We've got Darren Aronofsky's Mother. That wants to focus up there. A very bizarre film. Kind of reminds me a little bit of films like Eraserhead, that kind of thing. I know it's not the same sort of movie, but it's all very fast-paced and doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's more of an art film more than anything, and nothing is bad with an art film. Up next we have Rob Zombie's House of... The neighbours are shouting. Up next we have Rob Zombie's House of Up next we've got Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. Now this one I used to adore as a kid. I mean, it was pretty extreme, even with that standard, but in all honesty though, as I got older, it's not as good. I mean, it's a good bit of fun, and it's over 20 years old, oh my god, but yeah, I mean, it was good for the time, but as I got older, yeah, the other sequels are much better. We got Child's Play. Now this spawned the whole Chucky doll craze, during the Cabbage Patch era, and made children terrified of dolls, including myself, for a good long while. Yeah, Child's Play, absolute classic film. Doesn't play too much on fantasy that much, but in all honesty, it's a serial killer hiding in a child's doll. That's pretty terrifying, if you ask me. Up next we have Wreck, the Spanish found footage film. This one is an absolute bloody classic, and I absolutely love it because it's sort of, with these sort of things, you see them running away. It's not all high fidelity cameras and crisp quality. It's quite low res. And the zombie outbreak kind of atmosphere being locked in this massive tower block is genuinely terrifying. Up next we have the Silent Hill film. Now this one actually, when you consider video game adaptations, this one is pretty damn good. I mean, yeah, okay, it's got its problems with some of the enemy placements, and it all doesn't make a lot of sense because it's James Sunderland's version of Silent Hill in this film, and I think it's a little bit weird. But never mind, it was still a good film and I did quite enjoy it. Up next, in Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 remake by Tom Savini there. This one, I actually really liked this one. It was really good. Didn't change the formula too much, but it changed it up just enough to make it fresh, and the alternate ending compared to the original is pretty damn good. If you've not seen it, give it a watch, it's good. Up next, John Landis's American Werewolf in London. The man who accidentally killed a child and a very famous actor made American Werewolf in London, funny enough. What I was referring to then was basically during the production of the Twilight Zone film. Very, very sad, and two or three people lost their lives because of working after hours and illegal shooting times. So that's all good, isn't it? But American Werewolf in London, though, absolutely fantastic, and yeah, it's a general all-round classic. Up next, we've got Splinter, a hidden gem, really, in terms of horror films, because none of my friends have really watched this or know what it's about. It's basically about this couple that go on this, I guess for their anniversary, go camping and get their bloody car carjacked by these two thieves or robbers or criminals, basically. And there's some sort of weird fungal infection turning people into sort of weird the thing virus fungal creatures. It's very bizarre, but it's very, very effective and it's very, very creepy. Up next, we have K-Shop, a failed university student whose father gets killed in an accident whilst he's running the late night kebab shop. He basically tries to get revenge and accidentally kills one of the punters because of being obnoxious drunk assholes, and decides, instead of actually turning himself into the police, starts to cook them on the kebab spit, which is very, very nice. Up next, we have Terra Firma, the amazing trauma comedy film from I think 1996. It's very, very crudely made, has some really stupid humour in there, but it's all got lots of nice blood and gore, and Lemmy's in it, which is really good. Up next, we have You're Next. Now, this is an amazing home invasion film. I would really recommend. I have not seen it in years, so I need to rewatch it again, but it's very, very good. The Blob, the 1988 remake, which technically is really one of my favourite remakes ever, really. It's so gory. It's got a little bit of good humour in there. It doesn't take itself too seriously either, which is very nice. Yeah, very underrated. It did not get a home release in the UK, which I'm very upset about, but never mind. It's in the collection now, and it has been for the last 15 years. The Human Centipede trilogy, well, it's the Human Centipede trilogy, isn't it? There isn't really much else to say about that. Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2, eh? Taking the formula from the first one and making it 10 times better and having more set pieces and, being in the good guy factory and all that good stuff, and, the showdown at the end, absolute class. And, the special effects are still really good now, so props. Well, John Carpenter's a thing. It's fucking amazing. It, chapter 1, I think it is. Yes, that is the remake, isn't it? I'm just going to come out here because my arm is aching. Oh. 2 seconds. There we are. That's better, isn't it? Right then. Where were we? So yeah, it chapter 1, I believe. This one isn't too bad. I did watch it at the cinema twice, so it must have been very, very good. Yeah, really good cast. Kind of felt like the Goonies, but not the Goonies. You know what I mean? So, but obviously, with that Stephen King kind of flair to it all. Very good. Alien. Ooh. Now you're wondering, why the hell is this thing so slim? That's because I had the quadrilogy set when I was 13 and I lost the box, so I've got the really small spine cases of these. So yeah, 1979 Alien set the bar for horror movies to come. Very, very timeless little movie, this. I recently rewatched it for Alien Romulus, which I thought was very, very good. Not the best Alien film I've ever seen. I believe that the originals are 10 times better and still hold up the test of time, but this one, though, Christ almighty, feels timeless. It feels like it was made yesterday. And I'm not just saying that just to be an absolute snob. Like, the amount of craftsmanship that went into that movie is absolutely fucking fantastic, and would recommend to anybody who likes sci-fi horror films. The xenomorph in this is also terrifying, so that's also good, isn't it? Ichi the Killer, the Takashi Miike classic, which I have a t-shirt of upstairs somewhere. This one is based off a comic book, but that's not Ichi the Killer. That's a mafia, a Yakuza member. So I got really confused as a kid thinking that's Ichi the Killer. No, Ichi the Killer's a robot. It took me years to figure that out. But yeah, Shinya Tsukamoto's in it. He plays a cameo in that movie. And it's a weird one, but I do genuinely like it. It's very, very fun. Train to Busan, the South Korean zombie outbreak on a train. This one is absolutely fantastic. There was the sequel, wasn't there? It was a oh god, there was two other ones. There was an animated one, like a prequel, and there was a one called Peninsula. I haven't seen Peninsula yet, but Train to Busan was absolutely fantastic. Very sad film as well, but the special effects and the zombies are brutally fast. And you know, if you're fat, you've got no chance. Sorry about that. American Horror Story, the original first season. I absolutely love this season. This is the only one that I like in the entire series of the American Horror Story franchise. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's more subtle, and then there are sexual elements in it, of course, and all that. But you know, it doesn't really matter because like this was genuinely a perfect horror series. Really, I mean, genuinely is very good. The Purge. Now this one's a funny one. I do like The Purge, but sometimes I think, is it a horror movie or is it a thriller? It kind of blurs that line in between. I mean, I can't really get my head around it, but it's in there anyway because I genuinely like The Purge. It has got that horror. It's shot like a horror film, feels like a horror film, so it's in there. Would recommend. Blacks and the Nanking Massacre. Now for this collection of this sort of selection of things, I've gone for horror movies and international films, so that's why it's in there. We'll have it again. Blacks and the Nanking Massacre. Now, obviously, I've talked about this on the channel before. A really harrowing war exploitation film, which is nice, isn't it? Sadly, though, this one is long out of print and is very expensive. But it's one of those films it's one of those films you only watch once, and it's a shame really because it's genuinely well made, but it's so depressing. Same goes for Blacks and the... It's just generally depressing. And same goes for Men Behind the Sun. Very crudely made, but it feels more real because it was based on truth. Yeah, not very nice. The Grudge, the Japanese classic that basically spawned a whole load of American sequels as well. Same with The Ring. This one, I think, made more of a splash because it was a big... I don't know, it's just that element of just creepy psychological horror mixed with, you know, ghosty things. The little boy in the elevator, and it was the elevator, yes it was, where we see him in reflections but don't see him walk out the elevator. It was very creepy. The original Evil Dead is absolutely fucking fantastic. The sequel, Evil Dead 2, which is around here somewhere, I have it here somewhere. No I don't, that's great, isn't it? I'll get that back in a minute. Set off the entire franchise, very stylishly made, even though it was made for little to no money. Absolute classic, you know, with Ash and his chainsaw and his bloody shotgun, all that kind of crap. It's generally very well made. Aliens, obviously James Cameron's classic on the original Alien movie. What are you doing? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's just incredible. Get Out, Jordan Peele's movie, which I found really creepy. It's basically about this family who the daughter's got a black boyfriend. I forget his name now. It will come back to me in a minute. And you know, it all seems hunky-dory at first, but all of a sudden there's some sort of sinister outcome to this, where they want to take half his brain out and put it into somebody else's head. Very creepy film, and I don't really like it. I do like it, but it's just very creepy. Anyway, The Blair Witch Project. I found it creepy as a kid, and I found it creepy now. Obviously set off the entire found footage genre, as we all... the camera, sorry. As we all know today. The Thing prequel, that's what we know about that. The Purge Anarchy. Take the Purge from the first movie and put it in a city. That's basically all it is. Resident Evil. The original Resident Evil movie is kind of good. I do kind of like it. But the source material in this... is a little bit shit, to be fair. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for me, but the practical effects and the zombies look very nice, so that's always good. Breathless, the French classic. I haven't seen this film in donkey's years, but I need to rewatch it because it's genuinely quite interesting. Even though it was made near the late 60s, it has a lot of modern camera techniques and, you know, handheld shots that I really quite like. Jan Svankmeyer's Lunacy. My God, sorry, I forgot this film existed. Yeah, I'm looking it out because that's what you can do from the front cover. Is that genuinely a very bizarre movie that I absolutely adore. It's set during the 1800s, but there's cars in this, but it's just that sort of like nutcase kind of thing. Is it really that time, or is this person gone fucking mad? Very, very intense film as well. La Haine, absolutely brilliant commentary on police brutality in Paris in the 90s. So that's nice, isn't it? Very, very stylish, black and white. Vince excels in this as well. Genuinely a very, very well made film. Basic Tsukamoto, Shinya Tsukamoto's little biographic documentary, only released in America, this one, which is a shame, but it's up from his early works to, I believe, Gemini. So if you want to look at his early work and what he did as a kid, it's all in there. Yum yum. Ugh, terrible meal, Christ almighty. Now this one is a disgusting Japanese vomit. I can't even speak because I'm scared to say it. It's a vomit fetish porn movie from Japan in the mid-90s, and it's became a bit of a cult following within weird people in the horror community, I guess, including myself. It's a weird one, but it's got some artistic value to it, so that's nice, isn't it? Anyways, we've got Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. This one is genuinely weird. There's loads of one-take shots in this to do with time travel, and it was shot on a phone, and it's genuinely a head scratch, but I love it. It's really fun, doesn't take itself so seriously, and it's genuinely quite a good time. Parasite. Parasite. I saw it at the cinema, and me and my girlfriend at the time were the youngest people in the cinema watching it. Really, really fucking good movie. Almost Hitchcockian in a way, where it kind of throws you like in a deep end and then pulls the rug from you. You think you know what you're getting yourself into, but trust me, you don't with this one. I've got the camera again. Sorry about that. There we go. Massacre Gun, a great, I guess a great Japanese noir film with the Yakuza during the 60s. It's absolutely fantastic. Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, which I absolutely adore. Now this one, I do prefer Yojimbo. It's got more of a Clint Eastwood vibe to it, but Seven Samurai, obviously it made a splash in America in the 50s, and it makes sense why, because it's fucking brilliant. Pixar would even pick that idea up to make Bug's Life even, so you know it's good when Pixar have picked it up. Burst City, Sogo Ishii's very first, I think one of his very first movies, or one of his earlier works. It's absolutely fucking crazy. About punks who basically have a massive rampage and kill and fight each other. It's kind of like Mad Max, but in the 70s. So that's quite nice, isn't it? Electric Dragon 80 Volts. I have been waiting for this one to come out on Blu-ray or DVD in the UK for fucking years. I've even got a bootleg down there because it's such a weird fucking movie. Another Sogo Ishii film, by the way, as well. It's so bizarre, and it's shot in black and white, but it's got a comic book feel to it. I don't know how to describe it. It's really, really good. It's also going quite cheap as well on Amazon, so if you like that kind of stuff, pick that up. It's quite nice. Basic Tsukamoto, some of Tsukamoto's 3 movies in there. I believe it's Haze, a short little movie which is very, very creepy and disgusting. What else? The Adventures of Electro Rod Boy, his early works before Tetsuo, and Killing, his very first samurai flick, which is very, very good and very, very brutal. Would recommend for any fan of Tsukamoto. It's genuinely really, really good. Gemini, I guess a horror thriller really set during World War II, about 2 siblings who are separated at birth, and then one becomes like a doctor, and the other one becomes some sort of like sideshow freak. And really, the sideshow freak sleeps with his wife and pretends to be him and kidnaps him and puts him in a well. That's nice, isn't it? Very, very good movie, and underrated as fuck in the UK. Fires on the Plain, a remake of the 1940s classic. Tsukamoto made this a horror movie, really, and it's very, very harrowing. Yeah, not very nice at all, really. It's a really well-made war movie, but it's not very nice. I believe there is a good outcome to it, but it's at what cost with those kinds of endings. But always good to see Tsukamoto still making things today. Tetsuo 1 and 2 obviously had to be in the collection, didn't it? Nothing much else to say about that, really. It's fucking classic. It's one of my favourite films ever. DIY cyberpunk madness to the extreme, and we love it. The collector's edition is German, but it also comes with Bullet Man as well on that one. That's mainly why I bought it, and it was the cheapest alternative, so nice. Tokyo Fist, a love triangle type film mixed with boxing. It's very Tsukamoto, very, very David Lynchian, and very, very bizarre, but I love it all the same. Bullet Ballet is a very emotional, very sad film about a guy whose his girlfriend kills herself because she hasn't got a purpose in life, and it's up to Tsukamoto's character to figure out why and how she did it, really. And it's not very nice in general, really. But it is a very nicely well shot movie, and it's one of my favourites in his filmography. Kotoko actually terrified me because we don't know who's who. It's basically like this woman who's can always see two, either a good person or a bad person, and it usually ends up going very, very wrong. Lots of self-harm in this too. It's a very hard watch and it's very emotional. Only I watch it once, never watch it again. It's good, but it's very, very upsetting. One Cut of the Fucking Dead, made by the guys who made Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. This film was made for dirt cheap, and it's skyrocketed in bloody popularity because it's so damn good. It's really funny. It's basically like a zombie TV show that's done live, and we basically see it in one shot first, and then we see how they did it, obviously in the film, and it all goes bloody wrong. Absolute classic. I would highly recommend this one too. These two, we would know what these are about. I've done countless videos on the channel, or mention them on the channel constantly. Highly recommend. Brain Dead, obviously Peter Jackson's bloody gory classic. The Descent, a really good monster movie with a whole female cast going caving. They go to the wrong cave and there's really creepy Nosferatu creatures in there. Very, very good stuff. That one there, look at that, forget that one. This is the Guy Pearce collection on Sculpting Fragments. These films are fantastic. I believe they're still available on the website, so go and get one now if you ever want the chance to see that. Wicker Man, obviously with Christopher fucking Lee in it, and it's genuinely a very well-made horror movie, a bit like Call of Cthulhu before Call of Cthulhu was a thing. Forget about those two. Tusk, the Kevin James film. Is it Kevin James? Let me have a look. Kevin Smith, not Kevin James, you fucking idiot, Gabe. Oh, dear me. So basically it was a response to a podcast scenario that they said live, and they decided to make it into a movie about a guy who gets turned into a walrus. That's always nice, isn't it? Return of the Living Dead Part 2, not as good as 3. It's more funny. Yeah. Hellraiser, now we're talking. This one is bloody amazing. I love this movie. One of Clive Barker's absolute classics, and it still holds up really well today, and it's gory, glorious, and British, so that's even better. A Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously an absolute classic of 80s slasher horror. Freddy Krueger's first debut, and is probably one of my favourites. Wes Craven's New Nightmare isn't too bad. I mean, I prefer more of the older kind of stuff. This one's absolutely fine. Tokyo Gore Police, absolutely batshit crazy movie about, well, how should I put it really? It's about some sort of virus infection that turns people into cyborg ninjas. It's all very bizarre. Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Just stay there and be lovely. I got some of the Saw films here. I do prefer Saw 2 and 1. And that's really about it. It gets a bit too far-fetched after a while, and that's really annoying. Because really, it should have stayed with those two and that should have been it, but they wanted to make loads of sequels, and these come out every year for Halloween, and I'm very, very impressed with that. Genuinely, it's very, very impressive for the time. American Guinea Pig, Bloodshock, and Bouquet of Guts and Gore. They're alright. They're not as good as the Guinea Pig series though, which came out before it. Absolute classic in Japanese exploitation gory cinema. The original Friday the 13th, I do like this one with Kevin Bacon in, but the third one though is my favourite, I think. Or maybe even Jason Goes to Hell, I'm not too sure, but that one though, definitely. I Am Legend, I hate this film because it kills a dog in it, but I had to include it anyway because it is a horror movie, and Will Smith I don't really like. Freddy vs. Jason, one of my favourite childhood movies. I should not have been watching that film as a kid, but it was brilliant. I should not have been watching as a kid, but it was genuinely really, really good. It was this really silly, gory movie, and it had two of the titans of 80s horror in it, so that's always nice. The original Night of the Living Dead, which kicked off George Romero's career. To be honest with you, I like it because it is genuinely creepy in places, but I do prefer Dawn of the Dead because I think that's the one I watched the most as a kid. But either way, still very nice and still very good. Resident Evil Degeneration. Now we're talking, so the good Resident Evil movies. There's been a load of these animated movies coming out recently, and series and that with Resident Evil on the tagline. But the original Degeneration was the original Degeneration I watched hours hours. I watched it 4 hours as a kid, and it's still a very well-made movie. Bloodfeast is technically the very first splatter film ever made in 1963 or 1964. I'm not too sure, but it got banned in a lot of places. Fede Alvarez's Don't Breathe. I saw it at cinema, and it blew me away because it was so original, and generally it's very, very scary. Even though there's no like spookiness in it, it's just the threats of Stephen Lang. Is it Stephen Lang? Oh yeah, Stephen Lang plays an amazing blind person in this, and it's generally very, very good. David Cronenberg's Videodrome. Now this one is it's a weird one, but it was kind of the response to watching too much TV in the 80s and what could possibly go wrong kind of thing. Let's out of focus. Well, focus then. Thank you. Yeah, Videodrome, absolute classic with Debbie Harry in as well. A little bit erotic, but it's not too bad. I mean, the practical effects are fantastic in it as well, and it's all around really, really nice. One of my favourites, especially. Tetsuo 1 and 2 on DVD. This had to be included. This is the original ones I had when I was about 15. So yeah, these are pushing about 10 years old nearly. Christ. Yeah, but yeah, one of my favourite classic films of all time of Tsukamoto's work. We have Nightmare Detective, which is one of Tsukamoto's other films about. It's kind of Freddy Krueger-esque, but it's someone who actually kills people like in their dreams, but doesn't kill in their dreams. It's very bizarre. I need to get an actual American version of this because this one's in Dutch. That's good of me, isn't it? Resident Evil Apocalypse, perhaps one of the best ones, the live action ones, I reckon. Oops. Resident Evil Apocalypse is probably one of the better live action Resident Evil films because Nemesis is in it, and it generally looks really, really scary. Yeah, it's got the tropes of Resident Evil 3 in it, which I think was not too bad, but yeah, I mean, keep it faithful, guys. Keep it faithful, eh? Halloween, the John Carpenter classic, with which spawned shitloads of sequels and some absolutely shit ones recently. The original one is still the best one, in my opinion. Halloween 2 is also very good, but yeah, the original is the best.